It's the Queen City Music Podcast, the podcast devoted to the local music scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. Here's your host, Matthew Ablan.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Queen City Music Podcast. This month, my guest is local music promoter Ryan Williams from Time2Fly Music. But before we get to the interview, let me give you a little backstory. Last year in 2018, as I was getting the QCMP off the ground, I heard about a local music festival being held at Heist Brewery in Noda called the Crowntown Get Town. This was an awesome event which featured original Charlotte bands, and Ryan was the mastermind behind that event. Needless to say, this weekend on Saturday, June 15th, the Crowntown Get Down 2 is at Heist Brewery, so head over there and support the local music scene. Hey, Ryan, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
So it's kind of funny that we live so close to each other. I remember texting you my address, and you're like, crap, you're like a mile from me.
I couldn't believe someone actually lived up here by us in Concord.
Yeah, if you don't know, we're in the North Charlotte area. All right, so are you originally from the Charlotte area?
I grew up in Oklahoma for 24 years and then moved to Denver, Colorado for a couple years and then moved out here. Been living here 7-ish years.
Okay. What brought you down to Charlotte?
I moved to Charlotte to work for a booking agency called Intrepid Artist, which books blues bands, some funk bands, couple jam bands. Cool booking agency. One of the bigger booking agencies out there. And worked there for a year and learned what I wanted to learn from some of the guys who are some of the better booking agents in the country.
Right. So do you have a music background? Are you a musician who got into it, or did you just kind of, that was a business you got into?
I played the piano a little bit growing up. My dad played a bunch of instruments and was always playing around the house, and we'd go see concerts together and just not necessarily a music background, just I've always liked music. Like even just going over to my friend's house to spend the night, I remember thinking about it when I'm 10 years old, I'm taking CDs over to their house to play. Like, think about that now, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be the DJ.
There you go. That's if you're not playing an instrument, that's a great way to get to be involved with music.
Yeah, it was fun.
So how did you get into the booking scene? Not necessarily just in Charlotte, but even before you came down here, what made you get into booking groups there?
Just growing up in Oklahoma, I wasn't able to see some of these bands that I was starting to see on the festival scene when I was starting to get into that, and realizing that they were skipping over Oklahoma all the time to play Dallas and Kansas and stuff like that. So just started emailing some of these bands and bringing them to Oklahoma.
Wow.
Everyone said yes. It's amazing what money will do.
So then you came down here, you're in Charlotte, and you're working for Intrepid. And then it seems like you started to branch out on your own a little bit.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? What's your designation is promoter?
Promoter, correct.
All right. So what is a promoter? Can you explain that to our folks listening?
Well, a booking agent is someone who has a roster of bands that they book, and that booking agent sends emails when a band is touring through to someone like me who's called a promoter, who each town has a local promoter that a booking agent usually works with. So a booking agent needs a date in Charlotte for one of their bands routing through, whether they're playing a festival around or they're just on a tour,
right,
promoting an album, or they're just touring to have fun. They email someone like me in this town that they have a connection with over years of booking shows and ask me if the date's open, and we move forward from there.
Okay. And do you handle certain venues that you book for?
Yeah, I've booked a show at almost every place in town for the most part, from Visualite to Evening Muse, Neighborhood Theater, a lot of the breweries in town. The Rabbit Hole I booked shows at for a long time.
Awesome.
Yeah, people think there's a lack of venues here, and there is in a certain sense, but there's also quite a few places to play if you dig for them.
Yeah, it seems like there's places that start showing up on the radar that you hadn't really thought of.
Even places like Smokey Joe's, Tommy's Pub, Comet Grill are hosting great open mics and free shows like at Tommy's Pub all the time. So there's tons of places to play. You just got to look for them.
You just got to lift the cover on the music scene.
Exactly.
So with your promoting different events, are you bringing bands in from out of town? Are you trying to promote local artists? How does that work for you?
I do a little bit of both. When I book bands from out of town, I always try and have a local opener on because, A, they bring people out. I mean, that's the point. Right. But I also think we have a great music scene here, and I try and help people who I became friends with over the years, people that I call friends, try and help them get put on the radar, like the guys from Ministry. I don't know if you've seen them yet. I've had them open for a bunch of shows for guys from Snarky Puppy, and they stay in touch with those guys, and they have their phone numbers and call them friends now. So it's all just about networking.
Right.
So, yeah, like this weekend, I'm throwing the Crown Town Get Down at Heist Brewery, which is 9 local bands.
Okay.
And I think we'll have 9 or 10 local vendors also set up selling a wide array of products.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because I actually met you last year at the Crown Town Get Down at Heist. And man, it was spectacular. I'll tell you, I loved the whole event. They had the stage inside, groups playing, and then groups outside. Can you tell us a little bit about how that started to come together for folks who didn't even know about the Crown Town Get Down and what it was?
Yeah, man. I like you were asking a minute ago about all the local bands. I started throwing all these shows with local bands that were playing the same genres of music, jazz, funk, and they wouldn't know each other. I was like, yo, you know these guys, right? And they were like, oh, no, I don't know them. And I was like, how do you not know each other? And it happened quite often. And it happened so many times that I was finally like, you know what? I'm going to throw a show that is all local bands, just almost so everyone can meet each other, and stop saying they don't know these people, and start throwing shows together and going to see each other's shows. So I got with my buddy Scott Grether, who does Velvet Productions, who's been around for a long time. He knows some of the punk bands and metal bands in town, but he also likes the jam band stuff like I do. So we got together, and he emailed who he wanted to email, and I emailed who I wanted to email, and we ended up with, I think, 17 bands from funk to punk to jazz to hip hop to DJs, everything. We had it all.
It was
unbelievable how flawlessly it ran. Every stage was on time all day. The weather was like 95 leading up to that, and then 80 that day.
It was really a great day for music.
Yeah, it was really fun.
The only complaint I could ever have is maybe if they had the outside stage or the inside stage, put a couple of seats down.
Right.
Because everybody's sitting out. But other than that, man, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. I think this Saturday is going to go just as smooth.
So is there going to be a difference between this Saturday's and last year's?
Yeah, we're just doing inside this time. You never know what the weather's going to be, right? This time of year. We're going to do a bigger one September 7th and have 3 stages. I'll announce more about that after this one. But, yeah, we'll do all inside this time from 3 to probably 1, 2 in the morning, depending on how many people are there.
Wow.
Because I'm ending with a DJ. He can play as long as he wants.
And what kind of groups are you having? Can you name some of the local groups that you don't have to name them all, but just name a couple of them?
Yeah, I got
who's going to be on the bill.
Once again, we have all kinds of bands playing this year, from southern rock to hip hop bands, folk bands, all kinds of stuff. Lisa DeNovo starts at 3. The Goodnight Brothers Band, Uncle Buck, 9 Day Trip, Revelwood Mission, Rat Poison, The Wormholes, Reese, and DJ Trifle in the night.
Very cool. How long is each band going to be playing for?
Everyone gets about a 45-minute set until the Wormholes play for an hour and Reese plays for an hour.
Okay. And what are we looking at for time differential between each group?
15 minutes.
15? Wow.
Yeah.
Get on, get off.
Yep. Yeah, I got backline, bass, and drums for everybody, so it should run pretty smooth. Andrew, the sound guy there, is great too. He's awesome. I know he hates me for doing shows like this.
Now, last year when I was there, you had some there were vendors there selling goods and things. Are you guys going to have that kind of art thing?
Scott, who I was just talking about from Velvet Production, his wife, Laura, always puts that together. She's been doing it for a long time. She paints and makes earrings and art and stuff like that. Right. So, and she knows all the vendors in town. So I just say, hey, I'm doing this time. And she puts it all together.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
So being in the promoting business and doing this with the Charlotte music scene, the Crown Town Get Down, have you met or do you know of other promoters in town who are trying to help promote the scene like you are?
Oh, absolutely. On this next one that I'm going to do on September 7th, I have already got 3 other local promoters on board.
Wow.
And I'm hoping to get maybe 1 or 2 more, just because I want everyone's input. This isn't just about me.
Right.
I'll like I said, I started as a networking event.
Sure. And
that's how I'd like to continue it.
Well, it's wonderful to have somebody like you on board, trying to get the scene going and help folks. And there's a lot in the scene. I mean, we were talking about it earlier before we started recording, and I do a lot of cover stuff, and then there's the original scene. So even if some stuff you get people talking, that are in maybe original groups and cover groups, and it's just people get to know each other.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people who you don't know. And that's one of the reasons I always say I started the podcast is because I don't know all these bands or individual musicians or promoters. And it's a good way to get to know people in town and know who's doing what.
Even someone as me who knows a ton of people, I'm still meeting people all the time that I don't know that are great musicians that play, like Philip Wack, who played in James Brown, then the JBs and stuff like that, lives here in town. Guys like that, like just Adrian Crutchfield, who plays in Prince's band. Just there's all kinds of crazy talent here.
And there's people moving here all the time who you don't even know about.
Yep, that's pretty nuts.
Wow. All right, so when you're booking groups, what's the what's the process for you? Let's say, all right, we'll take the Crowntown Get Down as an example. What's involved in that for a promoter? What do you need to do to put this all together?
Man, that's a good question. That's a loaded question.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I just figure
I've been doing it for so long that I just kind of do it, and I kind of black out and do it. You start making a list. This is what I did this time. As I didn't want to repeat any band that I had the first time.
Okay.
So I wrote down a list. I hit Scott up because we did it last time, and I said, we did great. Let's do it again. I said, what bands would you like to have? And he sent me like 3 or 4. And I said, okay. And I wrote down a list of bands I wanted. And then I made a post on Facebook. I said, what are your favorite local bands right now? And I basically went through whoever got the most likes and votes. I basically went through and asked those bands if they wanted to play this time, whether I knew them or not.
Very cool.
So some of the ones that got the most votes were not available this time. I'll get them the next time. But I basically just went through, and the ones who got the most votes and then a couple that Scott and I wanted is how this came together.
Okay. And do you have to talk to the venue? You got to sort out logistics, time frames, all that. How far in advance do you do all that kind of thing?
I did this about a month and a half in advance. Heist is pretty cool and lets me do my thing for the most part. So I just told Spencer, hey, I'm thinking about doing this day. Is that cool with you? And he was like, yeah, man, go for it. So it came together 3-4 days.
Well, you make it sound so simple. Like, oh, I just, called all these bands up and I just called the location at Heist Brewery and said, hey, let's do this. Okay, that's it. It sounds like there's got to be some more in there.
It's years of doing this and knowing people. It's right. One of those cases of who you know.
Yeah.
And the music business is 100% networking and who you know.
Right.
It doesn't take long to get a hold of people if you know them already. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I'm going to take that phone call.
Yeah. I've been doing pretty good things over at Heist. I got a good reputation there. So they're like, hey man, do your thing. Let's do it.
So how involved are you in the other aspects of the Crowntown Get Down? So let's say we were just talking about, you have a back line of instruments. Who's involved with getting all that set? Who's involved with the sound systems? Is that all you, or do you have it, do you have it compartmentalized where you're like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to have this person do this aspect of it. This person's going to handle this. And I've got somebody else doing this.
Heist has their own built-in sound system. They got the old Chop Shop sound system when it went away. And Andrew's an incredible house sound guy there who always handles this for me. I try and send him stage plots before, so he knows what each band, what he's got going into it. So, where am I? And as far as backline goes, I'm Rat Poison, I think, who's playing about 8 o'clock is going to help me backline for 3 or 4 bands. As nice dudes. If you put bass and drums up there, you don't have to change all the mics on them and everything like that. It makes the 15 minutes. I mean, you got 15 minutes change over time. Yeah. So,
and you're not playing a 2-hour show.
No.
So
no.
It's
going to be on the fly, but Andrew's pretty solid.
Well, that seems pretty nice of the band to lend out equipment, because
it's extremely cool.
You never know how somebody else is going to be playing your drums, for example.
He just got a new kit too. He's not real stoked about it.
I wouldn't be, and I know with guitars, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want everybody touching my stuff.
Bass and drums is the one that we worry most about, because bass amps are huge, but you just plug it straight in, whatever.
Right. So, all right. So we're talking about the Crowntown Get Down and getting that all promoted and what's involved with promoting. So the other night, last week, I met up with you at the neighborhood theater, and they did a town hall meeting for the music scene. And I was kind of shocked myself. Shock might be a strong word, but I was looking around the room, and I think of the heads that I counted, I knew 3 people there.
Wow.
I saw you, and I hadn't even met you that night there. I was like, oh, there's Ryan. I think I saw Louis Beeler from Tiny Stage Concerts, and one other person. I think I met 2 or 3 people there, just introducing myself. But man, there was a whole bunch of people there who showed up as who nobody knew.
Oh yeah, there was a wide array of people,
Yeah,
all colors and everything from different genres of music that didn't get a voice their opinion very much. It turned into a political rally almost.
Yeah. But my question would be, what do you think about the music scene in Charlotte? So you have a situation like that where you have a whole bunch of musicians, and it's not, for lack of a better term, it's not a tight-knit scene.
It's
where
not very
everybody knows
cohesive. It's there's a lot of people that need the musicians in this town, I feel like, don't. I know everyone's trying to play all the time and make a living, but there's also nights that you're not playing that you can go out and see shows.
Right.
And promote your shows and say, hey, I'm so-and-so that's playing at the Visualite this weekend or the Evening Muse, and say, you should come see me. Hand out a business card or a flyer.
Right.
The best way to do that, and the crowd that you're looking for, is going to be the people who are out at shows already.
Yeah.
So I think the music scene here needs to get a little more cohesive and a little more supportive of each other. Mm-hmm. My friend Adrian Crutchfield called it a crab in a bucket mentality. Where everyone's kind of clawing to get to the top instead of just supporting each other. And what's good for you guys is good for me. Like if people start coming out to see your shows, that's more people just coming out to see shows in general. So that's good for the Charlotte music scene, because they bring friends, and then you bring friends. It's just how it works.
I mean, the only problem that I could foresee with that kind of thing, getting out to see people, unless it's middle of the week, is like me. I love to go see people. I'm playing like Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So for me to get out and go see another group, man, that's not easy.
Nope.
And probably it might be the same for a lot of the other bands, but that doesn't preclude, somebody going out on a Wednesday, to try to check out.
And somebody. On Tuesday nights, once a month, we got Stefan Callender from Ministry and Queensguard, who's going to be hosting what we call the House of Funk. And he just curates a band.
Okay.
And it's different people every time. They play originals. They play covers, all kinds of great stuff. And before those shows, I'm going to start hosting I haven't came up with a name for it yet, but it'll be basically a Queen City music networking time from 7 to 9 before the show starts. And I'll have a DJ playing, local DJ, and it'll be a time for you to show up and just hand out business cards and meet people who aren't your friends, to meet people from other bands and other venues, and who knows who's going to show up. I mean, from Queen City Nerve or our blog Records on the Wall, or you, or anybody. It's for anybody.
Man, well, like I said, you have to let me know, and I'll definitely come out.
Yeah, we'll do it. We're doing it June 25th for the first time.
June 25th. And
what's
at
the
Heist
time
Brewery?
frame? 7 to 9. And then Stefan will be playing some incredible funk music with some of the best musicians in Charlotte.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So it's going to be like a speed dating event for musicians.
Musicians, people in the industry, anyone who wants to come out and be a part, really. I mean, like, even fans who want to come out and say, how can I help you be a part of your street team or promote your shows? Please come out and hang out. It's for everybody.
I think that's going to sound like a really awesome event. I hope it catches on and you get people coming out and doing it.
I think you can stand on a stage and talk about things as long as you want and how you're going to change things. But until you actually do things and change things and meet people and make friends with people and network, nothing will change.
Well, that's, look, we went to the town hall meeting and folks were talking, but they're not the musicians.
Correct.
So, and they're not the venue owners. So that the people who have to kind of make that difference are going to be the musicians themselves. They're going to have
and the
to
music
get
fans.
Promoted. Yeah. And particularly the fans. We were talking about them beforehand. And Charlotte can have a strange crowd of folks, come and see you. You all need to be able to applaud.
Exactly.
Not just go to see the show, but applaud for the musicians up there, because they're doing their part.
Exactly.
So what brought about this meeting, this monthly meeting, and how did this work out?
Just basically after going to a couple of these town hall meetings and just seeing how everyone was leaving going, I didn't find that as beneficial as I thought it would.
Right.
Not just my opinion. That's a lot of people that have told me that. I decided that networking is the way to fix this problem.
Right.
Just my opinion.
Right.
And
well, we don't want to slam what they're trying to do.
No, I think it's great. I think it's great. Everyone's trying
Yeah.
to help. No, I think it's great that they're getting people together to talk about it. They're doing great. I love all those people. It's great. But I think the best way to fix it, and just my opinion, we're all doing our own thing, is to get people to just come out and meet each other.
Right.
Face to face is the best way.
I actually think that's an awesome idea. So, but how did you pull that together? Did you just made a phone call over to the guys at Heist and be like, hey, this is what I want to do? And
we already got the room that night, starting at 9:00, and we're gonna be sound checking earlier. So I was just like, hey, what if we just do a meet and greet and everyone just hangs out for 2 hours? He's like, Spencer said, I think that sounds amazing. Let's do it.
So you're going to do some promoting on it on Facebook?
Definitely. Probably announce that tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, shoot me over an email because I'll put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, definitely.
For the QCMP and see if we can get some more folks out. Hopefully we get some more musicians listen to this podcast and get them on because even go to the town hall rally. I met a couple other people. So, we talk about branching out. I met some people of different styles. I normally have just a lot of rock musicians on or singer-songwriters, and I just want to meet some other folks and get them on and talk to them about it.
That's what I been hearing about Charlotte a lot lately is there's no sound that defines Charlotte. Charlotte has no defining genre, in any sound. So, which is a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Well, there won't, I would venture to say there's not going to be a defining sound until there's a group or an individual who comes along and I don't want to say stands out above everybody else, but starts to lead the pack. And then everybody will say, that's a sound. That's what the Charlotte sound should be like.
Right. But there's so many genres coming out of here now. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, currently, this could be a couple of years down the line where somebody tears out and you just like, dang, I
would say the artist right now that's going big from Charlotte is a rapper called DaBaby. Have you heard of him?
No.
Oh, he just sold out the Fillmore. He's on a world tour. He's getting gigantic.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of trap music, but it's pretty good actually.
All right, man. I'll have to check him out. And see what's
it's
going
pretty
on.
Good.
So what else you got coming down the pike? You've got the Crown Town Get Downs coming on the this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, on the 15th, and then on the 21st, Fish is in town, which sells out every time. You know, what's that place hold? 17,000 people out there, 15,000. Yeah. So we got a band from Chicago called Chachuba that is playing an after party at Heist for free.
Nice.
They really upbeat, four on the floor dance, what they call a Jamtronica band.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will be perfect for an after Fish party. And then let's see, the next Saturday, it's a jam band month in Charlotte. Dead and Company, guys from the Grateful Dead.
Oh, that's Josh Daniels' group. No.
It's John Mayer and Bob Weir and all those guys.
Yes.
Yeah, they're playing out at the PNC also. And so before that show, I have Mimi Naja from a band called Fruition, who's a big time bluegrass band. She's playing a free pre-show at Heist with Jack Lawrence, who played in Doc Watson's band.
Very cool.
Yeah, and after that, I got Grateful Dead tribute, Grass is Dead, playing at Heist. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. I think that's about all I got coming up for the next month or so at the moment.
Now, is this all your individual work, or is this going through your company, Time2Fly Music?
Time2Fly Music is the name of my company.
Okay.
It started in Dallas with a guy named Michael Curvin.
Okay.
And when I was in Oklahoma booking shows, and like I told you earlier before this, I didn't really know what I was doing. He was just starting to book shows. Process. Yeah, and we just linked up because of a festival called Wakarusa back in the day that was in Arkansas. And we had some bands that were playing that. I was working with some bands that were playing that festival, and he was doing the same. And so we just kind of started booking our bands back and forth in Oklahoma and Dallas. And he just said, hey, man, you want to book shows under Time2Fly Music? Set me up with an email. And I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever that means, you know?
Yeah.
And, man, that's almost 10 years ago. And we've both started booking at some really cool venues and started booking some really cool Grammy Award-winning, multi-Grammy Award-winning bands all the time. It's fun to book bands from North Carolina and then have them go to Dallas and then come back and say, like, you were my two favorite promoters across the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love that guy. Curvin's awesome.
That's a great little badge to be able to wear.
It's very cool, man. Our Facebook page has like 8,000 likes. It's just a promotion page. It's pretty, doing pretty well.
Well, in the music industry, especially, you getting those kind of compliments. It's an industry that can be known to be kind of seedy at times,
We have always paid everyone and promoted everyone. And we promote love and harmony, and we hug our friends and tell each other we love each other. And that's the kind of culture that we've created.
That's wonderful, man. That's why you've been around for a while.
Right. Absolutely, man. That's why people like us.
If you weren't tripping people up and they're doing the wrong thing, you probably wouldn't last.
No, not at all. People will call you out quickly.
Yeah.
I know I will.
So what else we got going on? Is there anything we missed? Anything we want to add to our conversation, Ryan?
Oh man, that's a good question. You keep asking me all these loaded questions.
That's supposed to be my job.
Did we go through this whole page here?
Yeah.
We did.
My
man.
whole list
What
of
do you got
questions.
coming up? Where are you playing?
Man, well, I just played at this fundraiser, a donors event, a congratulatory event for Hands for Holly, and it's a cancer foundation, cancer group that formed in the last few years. And if you ever want to check them out, they help support childhood cancer.
Very cool. I'm always looking for organizations like that to show up, man. We should talk about that.
Yeah, they're fantastic folks, really, really awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
So if you know somebody who needs help, or you want to, if you need help yourself, check out Hands for Holly.
Very cool.
And give them a look. And they're a local Charlotte group.
Okay.
Otherwise, man, I'm playing around town this weekend, and over the next couple of weeks, you can visit my calendar, MatthewAblan.com and check me out.
I will definitely do that.
All right, sir. Well, you have a great day. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
And that will bring episode 21 of the Queen City Music Podcast to a close. If you are a musician or otherwise involved in the music scene here in our fair city and would like to be a guest on the QCMP, reach out to me at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, you can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Play, among other places. So keep a lookout. Until next month, get out there and support your local music scene. Bye.